Hello, I'm Chris Williams, and this time we're going to be reviewing Age of X-Men X-tremists issue 3. As you can see, the cover is bad. It just pretty much tells you what's going to be in this comic book. It's boring. It has Psylocke making googly eyes with the Blob. I have a problem with this relationship because this isn't going to go beyond Age of X-Men. This is just something they're trying to do with body positivity with a big fat guy, even though it's his mutation, and that's not actually fat. It's part of his mutation. Most of it's muscle and that sort of thing, because he's actually super strong. The cover itself is, well, it's just a black cutout of two characters staring at each other with the sun behind them setting. Sort of like on the setting on the relationship. Of course, the first page is everyone that worked on this issue. Writer Leah Williams, penciler George Gentry, and the cover artist Raza. I find all of this very boring. Yes, it's bad that the first page is once again just more backstory and people listening off the people. It's boring. It's bad. I'll move on. The issue itself is bad. This is basically a continuation of my review of Heroes in Crisis, because like that issue, like that comic book, nothing happens in this comic book. It's just boring dialogue. Here we have Psylocke looking into the eyes of the Blob, and this doesn't even come to any good at all. She asks us if he's okay, and he says yes. Okay, see you tomorrow, Freddy. This is bad. This is all it does in the entire issue. And he continues to look googly eyes at Psylocke while Psylocke is getting a report from Jubilee. This is bad. All I can say throughout this issue is it's going to be boring. Hell, we might as well make jokes while doing it. The Blob is not actually making googly eyes at anyone. He's just naturally retarded. Oh, I'm not supposed to use retarded. Well, that's too bad. Why is everyone in this issue retarded? Here, we have Psylocke smiling at the Blob while he looks down shyly. And they bring in another victim, someone who got into a relationship with a girl who they're going to mind wipe so he doesn't remember anything about that girl. This is boring. They don't even really go into what happened to Nezumi in the last two issues. It just, this entire comic is them staying basically in their little office talking to each other. Monita, it's funny how they always say that, huh? Nope. Now, none. Apparently, while Iceman and North Star say no. Psylocke gets up to mind wipe him, and it's just boring. Everything in this thing is stupid. Monita is basically a bad person. She's so, I want to use the word B. It starts with a B, but actually she's just a witch. Oh, while Fred Dukes, the Blob, just looks down. He's not even doing anything funny. This is a relationship comic book, and it should not be in an event in the X-Men. This comic shouldn't exist because it is bad, and I'm just gonna make jokes. Every one of these people is probably a brainwashed moron, because Nate Gray did that to them. He turned them all into simpering idiots. Here we have the Blob talking about how a bunch of kids are gathering on certain nights, so he's going to have the X-tremists check it out. Now he asks North Star to tell Psylocke, while North Star tells him to do it himself. I should ask, honestly, oh God, we've come to the part of the comic book where Psylocke is making pancakes, and Blob asks, he didn't know that she could cook, and she says that she doesn't know how to cook. She just knows this one recipe. She probably read it off someone's mind. And they go on and just leave that she probably violated someone's mind by reading it. Oh, God. pancakes. How about we have the blob eat them? How about we have them throw them at each other? How about the giant pie fight? Anything would be better than this, but maybe not. It would just be more silly Billy humor, and this is so bad. While Monita comes in saying that Psylocke didn't properly mind wipe the guy. She thinks that Psylocke is part of the resistance, and everyone here thinks she's full of it. I feel sorry for Monita. She doesn't get much more characterization than being a little witch. And then Psylocke goes and orders Iceman to make sure that the guy she just mind wiped is okay, and that she'll do it again. While she accuses while Monita accuses Psylocke of being part of the resistance, and she of course denies it. Even after Bobby is going off to do his job, proving that she is all willing to mind wipe this guy, she'll just do it again apparently. And all I can see is that we have the Blob defending Psylocke, where Monita says, "So, why should I listen to anything you have to say?" Because she doesn't trust the Blob or anything he's doing, because she thinks his leadership is bad lately, mainly because they continue to have this pregnant woman tied up in their basement. And apparently Monita is abusing her. And they don't really seem to care because they're just doing their own thing. All of this has been very bad. They're basically starving a room in their basement while Monita is being a torturer. And later on, Psylocke goes to the Blob's house and they read books. Yes. They have page after page of them reading books. And they are basically talking about their relationship. Even though this relationship is null and void the moment this event ends. And I can't wait for it to end soon enough. Here, we're having them read The Age of Anxiety. Oh, I have anxiety. I have anxiety of reading this. And we have come to a panel where Psylocke says, "Monita's the bitch, isn't she?" Because they don't say in such words, they just blink that out. And we needed 3 whole panels to do that. Oh, God, you could have done this in one. Maybe just split one panel in half instead of just 3 panels relying on her face. Though it is, some of the art in this comic is much better than it has been in the last few issues. Art by Georges Gentry. Now, the extremists are going to investigate that report of those kids apparently meeting up in an abandoned library and having meetings. Well, they came to investigate because Monita left a tip on their answering machine telling them that these kids were doing it. She thinks these kids have something to do with the resistance, and she wants to prove it. So voila, I brought you to the resistance, Monita says. Then the extremists start to round up the kids. The kids, meanwhile, tell each other to resist them and to fight back. This is all part of Inshaba News' plan, they scream. Apparently these guys have something to do with Apocalypse. But not very well, because they're pretty much beaten down by these nincompoops. Everyone in this issue is just stupid. And you know what? The more I watch this, the more I'm beginning to hate the costumes the extremists are wearing. Here you can see the artwork by Georges Gentry is pretty good, but it's only for this panel, really. Most of the issue is bad, or just plain boring. But at least these panels are good. 2 pages are good, but not by much. It's nothing really to call home about, but at least it's better to look at. More pleasing to the eyes. And this is how this comic ends, with Monita being fired because apparently what they did with them attacking these kids, they were just reading. Apparently it's a big no-no. And the Blob has the authority to fire her. He tells her that she won't remember this because they're going to erase her memory. And that she won't ever remember being part of the extremists. And Monita says, "You can't do that now. You can't." And I feel ambiguous about this ending. It's no good. It's no better than the last 2 issues. It was just pointless. Don't buy this comic book. If you like this review, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. hit that bell and leave a like. And leave some comments down below. Remember, check back for every day for new videos. Because eventually I'm going to release my independent comic book, Scum Dogs. So keep checking back for more information.